But if you're interested, I think my email's at the end, so you can just email me and I can give you the slides. ShellCon, DEFCON's always an interesting event. Oh yeah, and there's my email if anybody's interested in. So.
What is DEFCON exactly? Because I see people talk about it a lot on Twitter and stuff, but I wasn't really sure what exactly it is.
So it's like Toro Hack, only bigger. Like it takes over 4 or 5 casinos in Las Vegas for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 4 days, and it goes nonstop. So there are people hacking, there are conference talks, there's networking going on, there's a huge kind of it's a conference, yeah. So anything you can think of, and the one thing I say about DEF CON, because sometimes it gets a bad rap, it is what you make of it. I have one mentee, just love hardware hacking. They spend all day in hardware hacking. I'm like, cool. I'm gonna go spend all day in social engineering village because I like hacking people. There's also packet capture village. So if you're interested in doing like network analysis, people just spend all day there, and it is what you is. So it is what you make of it. There are tons of villages. There's aviation village. There's a car hacking village. There's now they had a how to hack industrial ships village. Yeah. Now, yeah, the government came and they're like, okay, well, we have these big naval ships. Let's hack them. Okay. There's a biohacking village, and that one's really scary because that one, I've worked in the medical field, so it's scary. Just you give a hacker a medical device, and the things that they can do with it are just unbelievable. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I always encourage people to go. It's good to go with a group. But I will say it is what you make of it. So yeah. Mm-hmm. Are there any other questions? Oh.
So you work for this company and they're doing like forensics, right? So what would you say is, if someone like I have no skills in that at all, what would you say is something you would have to pick up to even have a chance to work in that field? Like, what certifications or what should be familiar with?
So the first question always would be, do you understand chain of custody? Do you understand the basic legal things of chain of custody? Right? And chain of custody is, going back to the library, is, hey, you check out a book out of the library, they stamp it, and you bring it back. That's chain of custody. Right? The next thing is, do you understand how to protect that evidence? Right? So these are technical things. We're just talking about basic fundamental of how do you protect that evidence. Then, if we're going to get more into the technical, then I would ask you about, okay, so do you understand about imaging? Imaging is taking a copy of a hard drive. The next thing is, have you even taken apart a machine? Have you physically taken apart the hard drive of your machine? And Security Plus is nice to have. Most of the forensics, there isn't really an entry-level forensics certification. A lot of it is mostly hands-on.
Okay.
So if you can speak to, have you imaged a machine? Have you taken apart a machine? Do you understand how to protect data? That's what I would look for, right? And then, that's how it would go. Or industry-specific tools. Have you worked with FTK Imager? And these are free tools. Like forensics has a lot of free tools. So have you worked with FTK? Have you worked with Autopsy? Yeah, right? Autopsy is a great free one. Do you understand a hash? Those are basic questions that are going to come out. Yeah, so does that answer your question a little bit? Were you looking?
Yeah, so,
Okay.
so knowing hardware,
Mhm.
right, taking part of the machine, knowing how to back up the data and validate the data, and then being familiar with the software,
Right. Mhm.
right? Do they have different requirements for, like, let's say you wanna work for the police department, or like you're doing private investigations?
Mhm.
Is it like way harder to get for the police or the government, or do they have different standards or different tools, or is it similar?
So let's work it backwards. So they do have similar tool sets. It's a
Mhm.
similar
Okay.
understanding, but in terms of requirements, I mean, you do have to be a cop, but
Okay. So I'm
and
not that, I can't do that yet.
yeah, and I think the biggest difference is the court. Can you be a court witness? That's a big one. That's also big in our private field, but are you able to communicate the findings effectively to a jury or a judge? But those are the only things I've seen. I have to ask some of my colleagues who have been in the law enforcement industry, but that's usually the big ones that I've seen. Yeah, I think we're at the top of the hour. Any more questions? If not, feel free to email me. And yeah, thank you so much for coming to the talk. I hope you got something out of it.